What's up, fellow and future Dark Knights? And the reason why I say future is because I have a feeling that after this patch, we are going to be seeing a lot more Dark Knights. That's for sure. We got some insane attention in this patch. Holy crap, boys. All right, so for starters, let's talk about our enmity. Every tank across the board got an enmity change. So, like, the 10-second cooldown is now only like a 3. Kind of just a quality of life thing for those of you that toggle, including myself. As far as skill speed, I know that with the blood weapon changes, which were essentially 10-second duration before, so we needed our skill speed to be lower to where you want to get 5 hits in. Now it's just a 5 stacks with a duration of 15 seconds, so it's way easier to make sure you guarantee get those 5 hits in. Now, what does that do for our gear? Well, it means that essentially we're going to be pulling off a little bit more skill speed, and there are going to be 2 sets that a lot of people are sort of debating on right now, which is going to be the best in slot. There's a 250, which essentially has lower direct hit and crit chance, but higher determination and tenacity value. Possibly useful for taking just a little bit less damage overall. But the main set that I think a lot of people are going to work with is the 245 set. Now, this honestly doesn't really change your best in slot too much from what you were using before. The biggest change is essentially you're going to change from the Asphodelos neck down to the augmented radiance, just because the old neck would have had skill speed on it. This one does not have skill speed. And the other thing that's going to be a little hard for some of you to swallow is to get rid of your 600 ring for the 580 pentamelted crafted. But other than those 2 changes, you're pretty much good to go, and you're able to sit at 245 global. So that's honestly kind of nice. It's not as hectic in order to hit those OGCDs in between your abilities and whatnot. I think the major change that a lot of people are looking at is obviously Living Dead. I mean, Living Dead, it was pretty bad. It was really bad. It definitely needed something to look at. A lot of us were concerned whenever we saw the significant healing, what that actually meant. So the big thing to note with this is essentially if you do heal yourself out, which you're going to heal yourself out of it, it is a lot. It's probably 3 to 4 hits will pull you out of Living Dead. Unless you're AoEing, for some reason, AoE actually counts every mob hit by the ability. So in a dungeon, like hitting 1 AoE after you've popped Living Dead heals you to full instantly. And then essentially after that, it just turns it into a Holmgang ability where you just can't drop below 1. So I'm a little curious to see a few times where maybe a boss disappears or, something dies on you to where you can't hit something, I guess, in order to pop yourself out of the Living Dead. So you're still going to need a healer to help you there. Or a situation where maybe you heal yourself up and then you can't drop below 1. And some healers are just thinking, well, they can heal themselves still, but you can't because you lose that healing effect whenever you get this new undead rebirth sort of Holmgang system. You're going to drop down to 1, and then after it affects, expires, if you don't get enough healing, you're going to essentially just get 1 hit right after, right? So I think there's a few tweaks that we're going to see here, and there's a lot going on with the ability. It does a ton of sort of transfers, between 3 different phases. But overall, a huge change, and I'm super excited, honestly. We have the second shortest tank immunity. It's actually good now. We can bring ourselves out of, Living Dead, which is awesome. That with Blood Weapon, dude, I'm on top of the world right now. Now, as far as low-level Dark Knight play, we really needed some changes there, too. And the one thing that I see a lot of people talking about is the Flood of Darkness nerf. Now, Flood of Darkness is actually your AoE at level 30. So they really just nerfed low-level AoE for us. It did not affect our later ability of Flood of Shadow, I'm pretty sure, which is really good. I mean, that doesn't affect us a ton, Once you're max level play, it doesn't really matter. The other good thing, too, is we got our second AoE combo ability at level 40 now, which I think before it was like 72 or something. So anytime you were doing things like Eureka and whatnot, and you were a Dark Knight, you were just spamming like Unleash over and over to AoE down mobs, and it felt really bad because you couldn't generate blood gauge, you couldn't generate MP, you didn't have a harder hitting ability, right? So all in all, like a ton of really good changes for Dark Knight, and I'm really eager to get this boy into raid this week and test out a couple things, see what gets finalized on the Balanced Discord for some of our big brain theory crafters, and all in all, I think Dark Knight is in a superior position. I think that, as far as openers and whatnot, it probably won't vary too much just because the skill speed did not change a ton. But I think that, as we see some things in the coming weeks, and I'll possibly do some update videos on Dark Knight, we're going to see a lot more Dark Knights pop up on some logs. You're going to see a lot more in Raid. Probably going to be doing Gunbreaker Dark Knights a lot, especially with, just how powerful both of those tanks are right now. I still think there's going to be a huge demand for the Warrior Dark Knight combo as well, just because of Holmgang being, such a short cooldown. It eliminates the need for tank swaps and whatnot. It's honestly great. But, Paladin for me, I don't really know what their changes have done for them, but I don't really think we're going to see a ton of them in the future. I think that, a lot more people are going to be more comfortable on Dark Knight. I think that overall it is honestly just going to be a really easy class to do really good damage on. I think that a lot of players who like the edgelord life and really want to just swing that big sword are definitely going to be picking it up and just wailing away. So all in all, some really, really huge positive changes for Dark Knight here. And I'll see if I can find those gear set lists for those of you who are curious about the 250 and the 245 ones. And I'll go ahead and link those down below for you. And you go ahead and be the judge on which ones you prefer. The DPS is honestly very negligible. I think you're gonna end up with a little bit more VIT for 2 less DPS or something like that. So it's not a huge big deal. But overall, Dark Knight community certainly putting their pitchforks away for now. And man, I am super excited about this patch. So let's get in there and let's start seeing some more Dark Knights in the community, boys. Take care.